straight ahead on 12 News Weekend. Retailers have found a new sweet spot in back-to-college shoppers. Then,
there's a great need for affordable housing.
How much affordable housing is enough? We weigh the options in Brooklyn Park. But first, one local farmer needs more than a scarecrow to get rid of unwanted birds. See what he's doing right now on 12 News Weekend. A popular Brooklyn Park cornfield has had some unwanted visitors lately.
A massive flock of blackbirds have made their home on Charlie Fishbach's family farm. Kept unchecked, the birds could be devastating for crops. Now the Fishbachs have an effective yet controversial way of protecting their corn. Located near the Brooklyn Park Osseo border,
We got about 21 acres in this year.
you'll find Charlie Fishbach's sweet corn nestled in an urban setting.
If you get it in the grocery store, you might get it 2 or 3 or 4 days later. But if you come to Charlie's, you'll get sweet corn fresh every day.
We've been buying corn from Charlie's for quite a few years, and it's the best corn.
Longtime customers say they can't get enough.
Everybody loves it. As soon as you see the sign, you know the corn's ready and you want to get there and get it.
However, customers aren't the only ones trying to get at the corn.
It was about 2006 when the blackbirds really become a problem.
Hundreds of blackbirds have made this field their home.
They're a nuisance. They're just a worthless bird as far as I'm concerned.
Bottom line, the birds could devastate his crop.
Come in there and they just peck down the top, and we always thought they were looking for bugs. But after they get that sweet corn flavor in their mouth, they start pecking down the whole cob.
And after trying multiple tactics, he discovered there was only one solution.
Now we've been going out and we have a permit to shoot them. So we just shoot a few of the blackbirds and scare them away.
This cornfield is Fishbach's livelihood, but getting the approval to kill the blackbirds was not an easy task. The issue involved a lengthy debate at a Brooklyn Park City Council meeting.
The question that's going to be asked is, why did you allow this in the first place? People make mistakes.
Police initially denied Fishbach's request because of the close proximity to St. Vincent de Paul's School and the Highway 169 construction project.
Should something bad happen, should someone go to the wrong side of a stake and pellets end up landing at the school, that's going to be an issue.
Yet the council approved it.
I don't see another way out of this because of the level of loss that he would sustain.
You saw that on the picture. It's just devastating.
Now, after 100 years and an involuntary relocation due to construction, the Fishbach farm lives on.
And we know if we lose our privilege to shoot, we lose our livelihood.
Charlie Fishbach says he uses a 20-gauge shotgun with birdshot pellets, similar to what's used for skeet shooting to kill the birds. And he says they plan to shoot in a manner where adjoining properties and people are not at risk.
The Brooklyn Center School Board will decide whether to approve 2 levies to provide additional revenue for the district. Because of a new state law, Brooklyn Center wouldn't have to put the levies up for a public vote. Here's what the levies would mean for homeowners. Those with a median valued home of $113,000 would pay $139 more a year starting in 2014.
Really the question I think the public has is, so if you get this money, what are you going to do with it? And so first of all, you know, one of the things we have to do is get out of statutory operating debt, but we do have to provide quality programming to our students.
Superintendent Mark Bonine says the additional dollars would help maintain class sizes, provide support for English language learners and special education students, and invest in rigorous teacher evaluations. The district will host a study session on Monday. The public is invited to learn more then about the levies.
The legalization of same-sex marriage in Minnesota goes into effect August 1st. It's expected to pump more money into the Twin Cities wedding industry. Over at Best Wishes Floral in Golden Valley, Frank Bolander has designed flowers for same-sex couples before. While he doesn't expect a huge increase in business because of the new law, he's looking forward to the creative challenge.
I think it's going to be fun. It will allow us to be creative in ways that a more traditional wedding wouldn't.
We also checked in with the bridal store in Crystal. They also don't expect a dramatic increase in business, but they're also ready to serve a growing clientele. David's Bridal Shop in Maple Grove says they are seeing a big boom. They say their business has more than doubled.
In our week in review, police are trying to determine if a pair of wedding crashers who stole from a Brooklyn Park wedding reception did the same thing in Ham Lake. The 2 thieves were caught on surveillance camera at Edinburgh, USA. Police say they stole a Maple Grove couple's wedding box filled with cards. A man was seen on security video walking through the kitchen with the box. Park Center's former athletic director is due in court next month, accused of stealing ticket revenue from school sporting events. Larry Lawler is charged with 1 count of felony theft by swindle. The Osseo School District fired him last spring. He was on the job for nearly 8 years, though. Lawler is accused of stealing more than $3,500 in ticket revenue since January. And the cities of Plymouth and Golden Valley plan to apply for federal aid to help with cleanup costs connected to the June storms. President Obama declared Hennepin County and other Minnesota counties a disaster area, which allows federal money to be used for cleanup costs. The June storms cost Plymouth upwards of $300,000. Planning to sell your home? You might not have to wait very long.
Home sales jumped to their highest level in 3 years. Prices also continued their upswing. In Golden Valley, home prices in June rose 22%. In Robbinsdale, it was a 13% rise. And in New Hope, there was a dramatic jump. Prices climbed 34% over last year. The median price for the Twin Cities Metro was $210,000. That's up 18% over last year. Well, the Metropolitan Council is looking into ways to make affordable housing more available in the Twin Cities.
But one local city says it already has enough affordable housing. 12 News reporter Carissa Wyatt has the story.
Increasing access to affordable housing.
There's a great need for affordable housing, and I think particularly as the economy is tougher for people with lower educational levels, there's a lot of people that are spending way beyond their means.
And bringing more racial diversity to Twin Cities suburbs is one goal the Metropolitan Council is working on. U of M professor Myron Orfield is working with the council to develop its strategy.
We have to expand the supply of affordable housing, but we can't do it just in a few communities. It needs to be a responsibility of every community.
Affordable housing allows eligible households to pay up to 40% of their monthly income for rent. The Metro Housing and Redevelopment Authority pays the remainder directly to the landlord, but the city of Brooklyn Park says it already has enough affordable housing.
Our position, talking to the Met Council, is that any plan they develop needs to recognize the contribution that we're already making towards the metro area's goals for affordable housing.
While Orfield doesn't disagree with Brooklyn Park's position,
I think Brooklyn Park's done a good job, and it needs to concentrate on maintaining its stability.
he does see other cities in our area with a need for more affordable housing.
Andover, Ramsey, Medina, Plymouth, certainly, that are very, very white and have very few poor kids in their schools.
According to Met Council's findings, there are about 1,200 families in the Twin Cities on the waiting list for affordable housing. And those families are waiting an average of 5 to 7 years. Communities in the metro are required by state law to meet their share of the region's overall projected need for affordable housing.
Each community is different in terms of what their need is for affordable housing.
In Brooklyn Park, Carissa Wyatt, 12 News.
Due to recent federal budget cuts, the time eligible families wait to get into affordable housing is expected to increase to 8 years. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, an emotional time for many parents sending their kids off to college.
A few parents might be shedding a tear over the growing cost of back to college. We'll have some tips to get more for your dorm room dollar. Then later in sports, highlights from the sub-state playoffs in American Legion Baseball.
But first, your AccuWeather forecast shows an absolutely beautiful weekend to get outside and enjoy.
The National Retail Federation says parents are expected to cut back on spending for back to school this year.
But that's not the case in the back to college category. There's more emphasis now on sending your college freshmen off to school in style. This weekend in Money Savers, I found a few ways to stretch your dorm room dollar. Back to school shopping isn't just about shopping for crayons and pencils anymore. Stores are now offering more products than you imagined, targeting college students.
Just to make it a comfortable space for them when they get to school so it still kind of feels like home.
Retail stores like Bed Bath & Beyond want college students to create a home away from home.
Bright colors, there's vibrant patterns when it comes to the bedding, just all those things so you can kind of show who you are instead of all of the dorm rooms actually looking the same.
The National Retail Federation says spending on back to college is a growing trend, with parents of first-time freshmen expected to spend upwards of $800 on everything from bedding to dorm decor. To spend your money wisely, it's smart to check with what's allowed in your residence hall. Then,
checking with your roommate is always critical if you get to know that person so you don't overbuy. The room spaces are very, very small. So if you can overlap and figure out who's going to bring what, it will definitely save you money that way.
This year, Bed Bath & Beyond started offering a registry where future collegians can create a wish list.
They can actually go online, set up a registry, which makes it very, very easy for them to have their friends and family definitely take advantage of those items that they're going to want when they get to school.
Also, check with your favorite retailer to see if they allow free site-to-store shipping. So you can place an order online or in a store and then pick it up near the college. This can save you money and hassle.
I think you'd be surprised at what you may find.
Finally, you can think green. For the third year, Arks Valley Village is featuring The Hive, a collection of trendy items for the college student.
Everybody's going green. It's a great way to reuse and recycle. Also, you can get a lot more for your money here.
It's fast becoming one of the first lessons for a college student, deciding exactly what you need when headed off to school. The largest part of a back-to-college budget is electronics, but clothing, dorm, and apartment furnishings are usually right behind them. Still ahead, an apartment makeover in Brooklyn Center that may have set a world record.
But first in sports, we cool off on the ice as we catch up with a Crystal native coming up a big season of collegiate hockey. That's all coming up in sports with John Jacobson. Welcome back. John Jacobson now joins us with sports, and it looks like we have a little bit of playoff baseball action here.
The sub-state playoffs are going on through the weekend, and the state tournament next week as the local teams try to make their way there. A good summer of baseball gave Osseo the top seed in the sub-state 11 tournament. Play began Thursday morning in that American Legion tourney. Osseo at home taking on Rogers in the quarterfinals. Control problems in the second inning for Rogers starter Peter Fair. He walks 3 straight batters with the bases loaded, including A.J. Lyons. Winston Lane scores, and it's 3-0 Osseo. Next batter up is Sam Christofferson, and he lifts a fly ball to center field. Deep enough to score a run. Brian Lee Martinez makes the catch. Brett Moody tags up and scores. 4-0 Osseo after 2. And they have another big inning in the fourth. Lyons lays down the bunt. Fair's throw to first is high and gets away. Moody, the second of 2 runners to score. And that play makes it 6-0. Later in the fourth, Grant Seelock rips one down the third baseline. Lyons scores. Osseo has 7 runs in the inning. Moody adds an RBI single in the 6th, bringing Tony Stein home. As Osseo beats Rogers 14-3 and 7. We'll have a recap of sub-state action Monday at 4 here on 12 News. For the first time in 5 years, Brooklyn Park is fielding an American Legion baseball team made up mostly of Park Center varsity players. They are one of the local teams competing in the Sub-State 9 tourney in Coon Rapids. They met quarter-final round opponent Ham Lake, top of the fourth. Ham Lake getting 2 runs. Zach Odden's base hit scores Zach Rusted, and they lead 3-1. Bottom of the 9th, Brooklyn Park rallies. Tyler Stroh doubles to the gap. Carson Celine moves to third base, and he would later score on a ground out. Then Danny Savanich's infield hit to deep short, scores Stroh, and ties the game at 3. So this one goes to extra innings. Bottom of the 10th, the BP Knights load the bases. Blake Becker with a base hit. Brandon Budnick trots home with a winning run. Brooklyn Park stays in the winner's bracket with that 4-3 victory. The St. Cloud State men's hockey team reached the Frozen Four last season for the first time in the program's history. Crystal native and Armstrong High School graduate Cory Thorson helped make it happen, and Jason Malillo profiles Thorson in this week's installment of The Next Level.
Cory Thorson and the St. Cloud State hockey team took a wild ride last spring, all the way to the Frozen Four.
To be one of those 4 teams at NCAA hockey is just, I don't know, it could be called a dream come true, watching the Gophers growing up, and to be part of such a great program here in St. Cloud is just an unreal experience.
Thorson centered the third line, and along with Joey Bennick and Brooks Birch, played a key role in the Huskies' postseason run.
Thorson picks it up, quick shot, score!
We were kind of like the hard hat and lunch pail line, and just kind of dump pucks in and see what happens. And, things just went our way. Bennick found a hot stick, and Brooks was just working his tail off the whole time in playoffs, and it was just great to see those 2 guys, and it rubbed off on me, and pucks went in for myself as well, and that was just a fun experience, third line like that, being able to put points on the board.
Thorson graduated from Armstrong in 2008, and after 2 years of junior hockey, landed at St. Cloud. feeling an immediate connection to the hockey program and the community.
I kind of, checked a few schools out east, and, that just wasn't for me. I didn't feel welcome there that much. I know I came here, the coaching staff, the team, the fan base, it just kind of opened their arms to me, and I just felt, a relief here, like I could start a new, chapter in my life, and it worked out for the best so far.
In high school, Thorson was a dynamic offensive player for the Falcons, racking up 101 career points. But Thorson knew his game would have to be different on the college level. Thorson embraced the change and has worked hard to become an effective player for St. Cloud.
The only way I thought I'd be able to get in the lineup was, dumping pucks in and hitting a bunch of guys. So that was easy for me. I'd rather play than sit on the stands, for a role I'm not supposed to fill. And it was an easy adjustment for me to, going from the scorer to, the kind of the role player, as you could say, for a team. And it's worked out for the best so far, so I'm not going to try to change my game any other way.
Next season, Cory Thorson hopes St. Cloud will again challenge for the national title, continuing the ascension of an up-and-coming program. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Thorson tells us the Huskies should be strong again next winter with much of their Frozen Four team returning. That makes summer workouts, I think, a little easier when you've got something to build off like they do.
That's right. They have a lot to look forward to this next year. Thanks, John.
Coming up, an apartment transformation you'll have to see to believe.
We'll show you one incredibly fast makeover when we come back. They call themselves the world's fastest renovation team.
They set out to prove it this week in Brooklyn Center.
Bed coming through, bed coming through, bed coming through, watch out.
From new windows and granite countertops to new flooring, bathroom fixtures, and paint, a Brooklyn Center apartment unit got a complete makeover. 30 people from Soderbergh Apartment Specialists Company were literally crawling over each other as they worked against the clock to set a world record.
A lot of these projects in and of themselves take several weeks long, but hour and 45 minutes from completely trashed out, graffiti filled, smelly, into absolutely a gorgeous apartment.
They certainly had their work cut out for them. Here's what the apartment looked like before. Soderbergh's company bought the former Twin Lakes Manor apartments in April and is nearly finished with renovating the complex. So did they set the record? While it's unofficial, they believe they did for a single apartment. I wish they could come over to my place.
I know, anytime. I guess if they didn't for that apartment, they've got a whole building full of retries.
Exactly.
Maybe so. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Have a nice weekend, and we will see you again Monday at 4 o'clock.